He's happening, isn't he? No. What did I do wrong?
Oh, it says it didn't work. You did it right, but it didn't. It just failed on YouTube to get up. Maybe something's going on with YouTube right now, but it should be. Yeah, it should upload.
It should have been.
Yeah.
So getting a little better?
Yeah, that worked.
Okay.
It's
now
just
you're
moving the windows and such.
Okay. Now you're going to start an upload to the YouTube. Then
that could take a long time.
Oh, that can take a long time?
Yeah, it's 2 hours long.
Oh yeah, but leave it here and let it go.
All right, but it won't go to YouTube. That's just to get it to the hard drive. I'll take it home and do it again.
Oh, you've got to do it 2 hours on the hard drive and 2 hours on the YouTube.
And it'll be slower on this computer than on mine. That's
okay, well go ahead, do 2 hours to the hard drive.
All right, but that...
Just for the fun of it.
Okay.
And I'm going to set up to videotape you, Devin.
Right.
I want to see this. Put the light on. You want to go out, baby? Okay, now listen. Don't leave the property, okay? And just stay out an hour, okay? Do not leave the property and stay out 1 hour. Okay, bye-bye. You're a handsome kitty cat, I'll tell you. And I keep combing you. I got a perfect place to videotape you. Perfect. Do it on the patio. Oh, I should be watching him. Did you put one in?
There's a DVD in, but I have to install the software.
Which one did you put in? 16?
Oh, I didn't put one in. I still haven't heard what was in here before.
Oh, okay.
You want to use that?
It's fine. It's okay with me if you want
to use one of the Burks. They're the same as the ones I have.
Okay. 16 would be the one to use from last month.
need to change the screen to run it. It needs to be less big for a moment.
You're so good on the computer. Do you need a napkin?
No.
Would you do change the size
Mm-hmm.
so that you could read the screen?
It told me to, yeah, or else it wouldn't work at all.
Oh, he did tell you that?
Yeah. Da.
He did?
Mm-hmm. How long is that? It should be 2 hours, right? The Archive 16?
Yes.
Because what I see is 16 pieces. 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, 4.5 minutes long, 3 minutes long, 36.5 minutes long, 23 minutes long, 27 minutes long, 31 minutes long, 2 minutes long.
How do you do it
It
at home?
repeats over and over again.
How do you do it at home?
It selects one for me that I thought was the entire thing. It
It's
just
a-
chooses the largest one, not the whole thing, because it doesn't
Alright,
get
would
the
you
whole
go to Archive 1 then, and it should be 4:29 minutes, 4:30 minutes, if you go to Archive 1. I don't know what happened there.
They may all look like this,
No. They're
from the
supposed to-
computer's sake.
They're supposed to be 4:30 minutes. Continuous. 1. That's good that you found it.
The computer doesn't recognize there's a DVD in it at all now.
Really?
It doesn't find the DVD.
Okay. That's a good start. We tried it. It was fun. I got a good place for you to videotape.
I might solve this though. Hold on. Just this one more. We'll see. Okay, that one works. Let's see what we can do. Okay, this one has 9 pieces. Hold on, I think some of them are repeated, so it's okay. 32, 30, 29, 31.
There you are.
That's it. And then it just repeats that, so that's a mistake of reading it. But the first, second, third, and fourth half hour. So it has to be done. So that means if I get a 2-hour DVD, I actually have to treat it like 4 half hours.
You do?
And do it 4 times.
Really?
Yes.
That's because
Unless it was a continuous 2 hours, that's what it'll do.
Yeah.
It reads those
Well,
breaks that you see on the screen there.
They would be, but I have to stop every half hour
Exactly.
for you.
It's fine. This can be, if I have to wrap that, I can do these 4 times. It's fine. And then this should go just fine.
You started it?
Yes.
No kidding.
And it already broke.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It said the program stopped working. Maybe it didn't have enough oomph to do it. It stops. Maybe the computer doesn't have the horsepower to push that.
Really?
To rip it like that.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the DVD drive isn't actually made for ripping. I don't know. No, we've done it before. So no. It's probably just the computer's power. I don't know. The program doesn't work like that. Let me set the thing back to being big.
Oh, okay, thanks. Because without that I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Is that software that you're doing now to make it 200%? Is that called software?
Yeah, everything here is basically software, but yeah.
I don't know what that word software means.
Okay.
You set it back to 200% just like that?
Yep. And there's all your Berks.
Yeah, you did. Okay, I think that's interesting that you tried that. I'm ready now
Alrighty.
to videotape.
Where should I be?
You see the chair I fixed for you?
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Hi, I want to talk to you about an issue, an environmental issue. I'm in environmental studies class at the high school here, and we learned about e-waste, which is electronic waste, like throwing away computers, laptops, stereos, DVD players, TVs, all sorts of things like that. And I learned of a practice that we have of dealing with that garbage. It's put in massive quantities on boats, on barges, and things like that, and it's taken and dumped in other parts of the world. It's shipped out with other stuff, sometimes not even knowingly it's shipped, and dumped in other countries, particularly third world countries. Like large, more wealthy countries like ours, dump it on poorer nations, like the ones in Africa, Indonesia, the Philippines, rural China and India, places like that where people live in abject poverty. And that would be wrong enough as it is, but also electronic waste is classified as, or at least fits the definition of hazardous waste, because in an average cathode ray tube machine, a TV, a computer monitor, things like that that have those displays, those screens, a display like that can have between 5 and 8 pounds of lead in it, and a decent amount of mercury and other poisonous materials. So all these people that have tons and tons of garbage dumped on them go sorting through it for valuable pieces. They can also be harmed by some of the toxic things, the hazardous materials in them. And I found in doing this research that there's a treaty, there's an international agreement known as the Basil Convention, named for Basel, Switzerland, where the convention was held and where the treaty was made. It's an agreement, a treaty that binds all the nations that sign it and ratify it, as treaties do. It binds them all to not ship hazardous materials, ship hazardous waste, which includes electronic waste entirely. It includes other kinds of hazardous waste too, like burnt or smoldered garbage, just regular landfill garbage that's burned up, that's like cremated basically, and that actual junk is burned and dropped somewhere else as well. It's a treaty that bans countries that participate in it from shipping this kind of hazardous stuff. However, every country in the world, nearly every country in the world, has signed and ratified this treaty, this agreement, except for one, and that's the United States. And maybe Afghanistan, Haiti, a few third world countries, and the United States is the only major country in the world to not sign it. And I thought this was wrong immediately. I thought that was just ridiculous. And rather than just go on and try and forget that fact, I fired up a letter to our senators. In New York State, that's Senator Gillibrand and Senator Schumer. If you see this in any other state, you have to look at your particular senators. But I wrote up a letter for both senators and fired it off to both of them, and went back to my environmental class and pitched this whole idea to them, and we wrote a letter there. The other environmental classes, I went to them, they wrote more letters. We took these letters to other classes and kids wrote them like petitions and signed them. I went to a teachers meeting, a faculty meeting, and distributed letters to all of them to get out, so they all have letters to sign, agree, to send to the senators. And I want to get the word out to everyone else. If you see this, please don't sit down on this one. Get up, go to the computer, find your respective senator in your state, find their address, and write a letter that just says, I'm a concerned citizen, I'm your constituent, and I learned about the practice of e-waste, hazardous waste being dumped in other countries. I think this is wrong. I think that abjectly is morally wrong. I disagree. Whatever you want to say in that respect, just state your opinion about that issue, and then request that your senator work to bring the Basil Convention to the floor of the Senate for ratification. It takes 67 senators, a 2/3 majority or more. It takes 67, a broad majority of the Senate, to ratify a treaty, for it to have effect. It takes a lot of senators. So write your senators, write a letter. The internet is one thing, you can do it that way if you want, but it's more effective if you write your senator an actual physical letter on paper. Or even better, call their office, go to their office if you're that enthused. But get up, write a letter, tell someone else to write a letter, tell them to tell the people to write letters, because you need to get attention. You need to, that's how you effectively lobby as a citizen. You need to tell people to get out the word, to petition their senators, to petition their government, as it said in the Constitution. You need to show that the people want a thing, and as their representative, they should have to do it. So write your senators, please. Tell them that you want the Basil Convention to go to the floor of the Senate and be ratified, so it'll have binding effect for the United States. And if everyone does that, hopefully we will see some sort of action on this issue. So, thank you very much, and write your senators.
This is Venus, the morning star, and the evening star. It certainly isn't the moon. It's a planet, all right. It's east-south. It's to the east and a little bit to the south. And this is on daylight saving time. It's really 4:30. God of our fathers, whose almighty hand leads forth in beauty all the starry band of shining worlds in splendor through the sky, our grateful song before thy throne arise. Morning, folks. Time to do words. Time to play the word game. Word 101 is action. Action is a legal procedure by which one demands and enforces one's right in a court of law. Now, when we are all in divine union, we won't have to have any courts of law, and there won't be any need to enforce and demand our rights, because people will be 100% good, and they won't take away our rights. You're working very hard on your ablutions. You're wearing yourself out. Won't you have a little rest? This is .com. Now, the next word. Actionable. Grounds for bringing an action. I hope that never happens. I did it for 20 years. No. Did you really? Yes. 1987 to 2007. The next word is actual. Actual means real, not potential, not hypothetical, not theoretical, not virtual, but real. Our relationship with God is real. It's not hypothetical, potential, theoretical, or virtual. It is real. Actualize is to make actual. And so, I want us all to actualize our relationship with God, to bring it into action. That's the words for Wednesday. Now we're making Good Friday, because all day Friday we were trying to make up all the work we had to put aside Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in order to make how many dubs? Let's see, 10 TV stations, 4, a show for each one, each week of the month of December. That's 40, isn't it? No, now we're making January. December's all been posted on Monday. So that's 40. And then 11 through 20 is another 40, that's 80. And 21 through 30 is another 40, that's 120. And 31 through 40 TV stations is another 40, that's 160 dubs there. Half hours. And then add this up, would you folks? 40 quads. And each quad has 4 shows on it. So that's 160. And 160 and 160 is 320. Plus the archives, and there were 8 archives, 4 shows each, that's 32. And Berkshire, my local cable company, that cablecasts the show every night for 2 hours, Monday through Friday. That's 64. So we had, what was that? 360 plus 64 makes 424. Yeah, that's about right, every month. 400, no wonder nothing else got done. Monday afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So what was that? It was about 450 dubs, half hour each. Oh, I forgot. Then there's the 10 TV stations that will take 4 weeks on one single VHS. That's another 40. Now we're up to 500. And then there's Binghamton, BCAT, Brooklyn. Binghamton is 8, Brooklyn's 4, that's 12, BCAT is 16, that's 516. Now comes Chatham, which is another 16, 532 dubs. of the November events, no, of the December events to be cable cast in January, and all of the TV stations are filled up now, and it was only the 2nd of December. We have no TV stations to whom to send all of the great and wonderful events that are going to happen from today to the end of the year. The end of the last year of the first decade of the 3rd millennium. My goodness. They will be only on the YouTube. They won't be on any TV stations, because the TV stations are all filled up. Actualize. Then comes actuate. And actuate means to incite action, to arouse. And that's what we want to do with our faith in God. It's not a faith. In our oneness with God, our union with God. These are really good words. Will you tell us how we're going to remember to use these words instead of going on day after day using the old, threadbare, worn-out words that have lost their punch and need a rest and need to be reinvigorated by being put aside for a few years, and then use these words that have such incision and such pungency. We want to put into action our oneness with God, to incite into action and to arouse. Next word, acuity. Acuity. Acuteness, keenness. Get the 8 hours sleep every night so that throughout the day we discharge our life with acuity. One of the things that in the Buddha Chini pages was to meditate upon happiness for all living beings. You hear that? Yeah? Happiness for all living beings? Yeah. You're a living being, and millions of others like you. And we contemplate your happiness. I don't think anybody could be happier than this cat. So let us live our life with acuity and bring the happiness of every living being. Next word. 105. Aculeate. Having a sting. Beset with prickles. Stinging. Incisive. I think that's all negative, isn't it? I don't see anything positive in that. Aculeate. Having a sting, beset with prickles, stinging, incisive. I don't see anything positive about that. How would you use that in a sentence? Eschew, E-S-C-H-E-W, all matters aculeate. change the negative into a positive. Next one is acumen. Acuteness, keenness, in practical matters and in intellectual matters. Keenness in practical and intellectual matters. Sharpness, shrewdness, sagacity, and perspicacity. Those are all good things. And we want this acumen in our relationship with God. Why be 80% of what we can be 85%? Why not be 100% of what we can be through our acumen with God? How's that? I play this word game in my imagination with my mother and my father and with Franklin. And go through the definitions and see how good we are at memorizing them and employing them in sentences, in speech. Sagacity. What's our capacity for sagacity? Next word, did I get them all? Acumen. The acuteness of mind, keenness in intellectual or practical matters, sharpness. Did I get that one? Sharpness. Sagacity, shrewdness, and perspicacity. Next word is acuminate. Acuminate. Coming to a sharp tapering point. Acuminate. Like acuminate head, your head comes to a point. Tapering to a slender point. Tapering to a slender point. See, all these words, they come from the Latin word acute, meaning sharp. And now we do go to acute. Let's see, 105 was what? Acuity. 106 rather was what? Acuity. And then 107 was hazardous. No, acuminate. Not hazardous. Aculeate. 107 was aculeate, 108 was acumen, and 109 was acuminate, tapering to a slender point, and 110 is acute. Discerning, opposed to dull, stupid, obtuse. I was very obtuse yesterday in trying to learn how to make the character generator crawl across the screen. 2 hours. Well, that's ridiculous. 2 hours. God was working with me to teach me that. Finally, I got it. You can make it crawl across the top of the screen, the middle of the screen, or the bottom of the screen. Here's that wonderful machine that God made, and it took me all that time to learn it. I appreciate it. So, acute, discerning, as opposed to dull, stupid, and obtuse. Acute, sharp-witted, acute, shrewd, acute, sagacity, sagacious, sagacious, acute, perspicacious. Discerning. I have a feeling I left one out. Acute, perceiving. That's nice. The more time that we spend with God, the more perceiving we will become. As opposed to dull, stupid, and obtuse. The more sharp-witted we will become. The more shrewd we will become. The more discerning we will become, and the more perspicacious we will become. But acute also means a shortage, to a severe degree, constituting a crisis. Acute can mean that also. Isn't it wonderful? Those are our words. 101 to 110. We're making good. We made good now for Wednesday. Now we got 5 minutes to make good here for Friday yesterday. What do you think the next words are? 111 to 120. That must be the end of the AC. When you get down to U, that's the end of words that begin with AC. So we must be moving on to words that begin with AD. Adequate. Addled. Addled. Ad nauseam. Address. A place where a person can be reached. Admonition. Adhere. Ad valorem, to the value. What is our value? What price would you put on us, each of us? Are we worth $1 million? We're beautifully created. Adonis, handsome Greek youth. Let's see, A-D. Oh, okay, adamant and adamantine. you think of any? Adjoin, adjourn, advise, let's see, ADE, adequate, you can think of another one begins with ADE. What's the French word? That means to God. Adieu. Yeah, adieu. To God. See. Adulate, which means to praise fulsomely. Okay, that's it. Devin is due here at 7:15 a.m. to go over the errands list, and Glennie is to meet Gloria Pasquini Terwilliger, who lives in San Diego now, but used to live in Springfield, Massachusetts, and then moved to Hudson, New York. And they're coming clear across the country. She has the most wonderful daughter, Connie. She's the best daughter I've ever known to a mother. She is good. And so we'll see how that turns out and report it to you. Adieu to God. Where are you going?
Mailbox.
Well, we're going south. And it was a magnificent sunrise this morning and a blue sky, and I already see aerosol, but I put out the blue sky preserver. Right here. That's the funniest place to park a car. Is there anything there? Good.
All these, just two?
Yes, please. Okay. And put up the red flag. Thank you. Temperature this morning was 22 degrees. Does that sound right?
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
And
rather cold.
There's Lucy Dog.
Oh, it says your door is fully closed.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Are you ready?
Just give it a...
1, 2, 3.
There we go.
It has a thing that tells you that the door isn't closed?
Mm-hmm. Just got a little picture of the car, and it'll show a door open, with the back open, in red, flashing it, but it's not fully closed. Keeps cold air out, too.
What else do you have to do today after we finish the errands?
Nothing in particular. I might visit a friend's house. Nothing else particularly on my list today.
Race, is that the friend?
No, he's too busy. He's still working on essays for his college thing.
Essays?
Yeah, he's got a very, very long process to try and get into West Point.
Oh.
Much more to do than I have to do.
You know, you started working on it this summer.
Yep.
Taking that physical.
Yeah, he took the physical.
And doing all that running around the track for...
He went to all the meetings.
What meetings were those?
Congressional meetings.
What's that?
With his congressman.
What's that? The congressmen have meetings?
To get into West Point, you need a recommendation from either your congressman, senator, president, vice president. Something like that. So
I knew that, but I didn't know they had meetings.
Well, yeah, in the district, the congressman holds meetings around the district for that kids that want to get into West Point have to attend.
They do?
Yeah. So that way they can get that in.
And you said all of them. Is there more than one?
Oh yeah, there's been many. He's been doing it for 2 months, 3 months.
And what do they do?
Almost every weekend.
Do the meetings. I guess the congressman looked them over, huh?
Right. It's like an interview.
Now they can only have 2, I understand. Isn't that right? 2 from a state?
I don't know. Is that how West Point works?
I think that's the way it is. They can only have 2 from a state.
I'd have to ask him. I don't know.
I remember 2 boys in high school were the only 2 could go from the state, and they went. That would be the class of 46, and we're having our 65th reunion on June 7th and 8th. I miss you, Father. Connor, you were fun. You went to Albany. I don't know if they have anybody now. So, what was his appraisal of the meetings?
He didn't tell me a whole lot about what they had to do there, so I don't really know what the meeting comprised of. But he said they've been going well.
That's good.
He talked to Congressman Murphy, outgoing Congressman Murphy.
Yes.
That was up to before the election, but he talked to him about something or other. I think he asked him something for me. He asked him what he would recommend to someone going into politics. I think he might have brown-nosed a little or something. He was asked like what he would do for a career choice if he wasn't thinking of joining the military. And he said to the congressman, I might go into politics. I'm not sure if he was serious about that, so.
No, he was finding out for you.
Yeah.
That was sagacious.
Good cover, though.
What?
Good cover, though.
Excuse me?
He played a good cover, though.
A good cover?
Yeah, he covered his reason pretty well.
Well, wait, who? Congressman Murphy?
No, Olden.
And what do you mean he covered it?
He said that he was going to go into politics.
Oh, I see.
Be very viable.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not actually.
Yeah, I see. Well, I'm glad to see a blue sky and the sunrise.
Right.
Can you turn down your heater?
I just did, yeah. I felt it kind of hot.
It's quite a nice heater.
Had it on for quite a while this morning trying to get the front defrost.
Really? Yeah. The skunk dishes are all frozen. But licked clean. All right. Would you like me to go over the list with you?
Sure, you can do that. Do you know who you might have to call to deal with a large roadkill? I noticed on my way out today that my neighbor across the street, there's a deer carcass, must have been hit or something like that.
Oh.
That's actually at the foot of their driveway. I think something that large and possibly diseased could require the animal control or something to take that away.
I don't know. I'm so sad to hear that. Where, on Post Road?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so sad. No, I don't know.
I have to see.
I'm so sad that deer got killed.
Because they probably shouldn't try and bury it themselves.
Oh, that's so sad. I would get me a couple of 200-pound men to lift it, dig the hole, and bury it. I would. Almost due east here.
Right, so am I bringing you to Bob's?
Yes, you're taking me to Bob's. And I was going to read to you.
Right, is there anything
Oh, yeah.
specific or science or
Oh, very specific.
anything out of the ordinary on the list I haven't had to get before?
Yeah.
I remember most of the groceries been done before, so.
Yeah. Both. Did you do any chat with Glendora? Yeah.
Not yesterday, no.
I think it's nice to get those up onto the YouTube as soon as possible,
Okay, yeah.
because that makes us almost as good as the news. Get them up the sooner the better. Okay, $75 for the museum, $70 for electric, $40 for the computer, 3 $20 money orders, and 3 $4 orders, and it comes, and then 60 cents times 9 is $6.30, so it comes out to $263.30.
Need a money order for $6.30?
No. Each money order is 60 cents,
Oh, right.
and there's 9 money orders. So you're going to pay $6.30 for the money orders, and the basis is $257, and so the total is $263.30, and that's all written out here. Bananas, 4 yellow and 8 green, if you can. A cabbage, 2 oranges, cashews. The cashews come in a little square, clear plastic.
Right. I've seen those.
And almonds. And pecans. And brown rice.
Brown rice, okay.
Cream of wheat.
Mm-hmm.
I would get a couple of those, okay? Couple
2 or
of,
3?
No, 2.
2, okay.
And 15 pounds of flour for biscuits.
15 pounds?
Yeah, that would be
how
3.
many that corresponds to.
3 5-pound bags.
Okay.
A peanut butter. 1, the kind that you like to have me eat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And 1, the kind I used to eat, okay?
Okay.
Frito-Lay corn chips.
Mm-hmm.
3 Dole pineapple. 2 orange juice, lots of pulp.
Right.
I like that lots of pulp you give me, that's good. 2 International Delights. Right?
Yep.
5 Triscuits original.
Although I just got 2 International Delights and 2 orange juice on Tuesday.
Yep.
You still need 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you for asking, though. 5 Triscuits original.
Yep.
2 Great Value saltines.
No problem.
2 Bounty. Has to be
2.
Bounty, nothing but Bounty.
What is it, paper towels?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one with flowers and animals on them or whatever. The expensive ones. They really are $2.50 a roll. And 2 Angel Soft. And laundry detergent, nothing but Purex. It'll be $5 or $6.
Okay.
Purex laundry
Purex,
detergent.
okay.
And then, you know those dish detergents I like? At 99 cents or 97 cents?
Okay, yeah, those, yeah.
Yeah. Get as many different flavors as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Not all one flavor, but as many as you can. Joy books. I would say...
See that others...
Yeah, I would
book?
say the
Okay.
best you could do is bring me a couple.
Okay.
Different
If
ones.
there's more than one, yeah.
Different kinds. And they can be very high. I wouldn't go like $10 or $15. I'd try to avoid that. But anyway, Bring a couple. What can you do but bring them and we can eliminate them, whether they're good or bad, right? Nothing else we can do, right?
No.
3 packages of index cards. Now these big rubber bands. I guess you're going to have to go to Staples for those.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to Staples with you.
Okay.
So pick me up at Bob's and we'll go to Staples together.
Okay.
All right, and we're almost done. 200 DVD minus R.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything new in camcorders?
Mm-hmm.
2 microcassette recorders.
Recorders?
Yeah, they. This would be the best one. Sony. And if you can't get them at Walmart, when we go to Staples, we'll ask them about it, or we'll drop at Radio Shack, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 of them. Rubber gloves. Ask the people you know in electronics where they are.
Electronics? Okay.
Well, they aren't in but ask them where they are. And then you need this plastic tape, 1 inch wide, to bind your Glendora Happy Books.
Right, okay.
And I don't think you'll need more than 2 rolls.
Nope.
And
I
pawns.
thought this was a road.
And pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go through? No.
It's over there. Yeah.
You can't go through, huh? And pawns, okay. A large pawns.
Yep.
This is pond season, you know. Yeah. And Band-Aids, all the same size, the regular size.
Mm-hmm. Normal.
I don't
Band-Aids.
want the mixed size. And, and then I want to go to ShopRite. It's very fast errand. I want to see if they've got for hot cereals.
Okay. So when do I pick you up at Bob's?
And when you're through, I wait for you.
Okay. All right. That works with me.
Yeah. Now I'm going to give you some money. How much do you think it is?
Let's see. This stuff. Oh, well, the money orders, I forgot, is a chunk of money. Oh, that alone is almost 200. Well, in any case, I think the rest at least will be probably 200 or less. So.
You want 500, 600, or 700?
500 is probably enough.
You think 500 is enough?
I think 500 is
Okay,
enough.
1, 2, 3, 4. You think 500 is enough, huh?
I think so. I mean, the rest of the groceries shouldn't be that much. Oh, wait. How much would DVDs be? That could be a big chunk of money.
That's only about $60.
Let's do another 100 and make that safe. 600.
So I'm giving you 600?
Yep.
600.
You'll probably see a lot of this back, but we're going to be safe.
Okay. Now, is there anything else to give you?
Can't think of anything at the moment. I have to get you things, so no. I think it's all in order.
Good. So I'll wait here until you come.
Alrighty.
And then we'll go to, well, we might have to go to Radio Shack, and we might have to go to, I'd like to go to Staples and Rite Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Or ShopRite, rather. Thank you for the nice ride.
No problem.
You're a nice car, Mr. Subaru. Is that Swedish? Swedish?
No, it's
Subaru?
probably Japanese.
No. Yeah, I think it's Swedish. I think it's Scandinavian. Okay. Adieu.
Alright, I'll forget him.
Translated from the Latin means to God. Yeah, but the Romans didn't believe in God. It can't be in Latin. It must be Neo-Latin. Take care. Were you going to say something?
No, I said I'll see you.
Oh, you said au revoir? Oh, okay, good. Breakfast special. $1.25. 6 to 11 a.m. Are you the chief cook and bottle washer? Thanks. Is he the chief cook and bottle washer?
Yeah. His hair, everything.
Oh, okay. You get filled up yet?
Oh, this is
Do you have a puppy? Okay. Do you want a coffee? No. Oh, no. We don't have a special. It's a weekend. It says Monday through Friday.
Sorry, was I saying Monday to Friday? All right.
You want a coffee though?
No, I want to eat one.
All right, I'll get your menu.
All right. No, Tell me what makes a good breakfast.
Yeah, they said it's in a cloud up.
Okay.
Yeah, but up long, I heard.
That's what they're saying.
The woman says, I used to be miserable and depressed, but this year I turned that all around. This year I'm depressed and miserable. Dolly, what do you think of red china?
Oh, really?
Betty, it's okay if it doesn't clash with the tablecloth. Bob wanted to join Paranoids Anonymous, but they wouldn't tell him where they held the meeting. You can hear that? Bob wanted to join, not this Bob, wanted to join Paranoids Anonymous, but they wouldn't tell him where they held the meeting.
I don't think it really matters. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. Access to the program.
I have 18 grandchildren and I have one.
But Dad, my new boyfriend, he does not have many faults. Dad, no, but he makes the most of the ones he has. And at the retirement party, the boss said, we honor the work of Ed. He always gave us an honest day's work, even though it took him a week to do it. Joni calls her mother-in-law, Joni calls her son-in-law Blister. Blister? Why? He doesn't show up until the work is done. And the daughter said to her father about the new boyfriend, Dad, he's only a young man trying to get ahead. And Dad said, well, he needs one. There's a story of this dog and a boy. They used to go to school together every day. Every day, the boy and the dog would go to school together, and the dog would stay there, and then in the afternoon, the boy and the dog would come home together, and it went on for years. Then one day, it had to break up. The dog graduated. How's Harry doing on his speed reading course? His speed reading course? Oh, very good. He moves his lips much faster now. Peter says, if I ever have a heart transplant, I want the heart of my boss. It's never been used. Anthony says, my brother and I have a good relationship. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my brother, and there's nothing my brother wouldn't do for me. So we've gone through life doing nothing for each other. The judge has an even disposition. He's nasty to everybody.
What did you say?
How did Hazel Clark help you?
Oh, I worship upon her. I just, every time I would see her eyes, I couldn't believe it. She was there.
No, wonderful. You remember the oratorios she used to do?
Then I was in the organ.
Oh, okay. And you played the organ?
No, wait a minute. That was after that. I was in the organ, not in the organ. I was at the piano.
Piano?
Piano. I did that, all that.
Yes,
Yeah. It was the next year I went, and that was John. I went to Boston.
Boston?
Yeah, the school. I stayed for a year, and I didn't have any money
Yeah, I know.
at all. And I decided I just went to work. I found a very good doctor. Remember when we were right on the beautiful downtown, where where the school.
Was it Conservatory of Music?
Yes, yeah.
The Boston Conservatory?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you had to
right
be.
by that, there was a beautiful mass. I mean, it was.
Commonwealth Avenue?
No, it's right next to. After the school, then there is a church, and it was that would be Methodist. No, not Methodist. Whether the ones are all. Now this is where I lose my things, but you know, there's the church is the new thing, and then there's the NEM with a lot of churches below it. There are in their reading, and then next to that there was. It went up the road where the wealthy people.
Yeah.
And there were 5 men. It was right after school, college and all, the beginning. It was after all the war thing. And that was wonderful. One doctor had babies, another doctor did some other things.
I see, and you one got a good job.
And the other one was a man, small lines, and he did do you remember, they don't do it anymore, you take the woman or man, flop him up on the back and like it down.
Shock treatment.
Yes, you named it. That's it.
Now, Gloria, was this on Commonwealth Avenue?
That was when that did in
Copley Square? Near Copley Square?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it just went up. It was beautiful there. Well, it was.
This is my friend, Gloria Pasquini.
I learned how to doing this distance and all,
and we went to school together in classical high school in Springfield, Massachusetts. And you were the class of 44?
Yeah.
And then you stayed on a year in the class of 45. And I was in the class of 46, and we're having a reunion on June 7th.
Yeah.
Are you coming to the reunion?
I don't know, but I have to get them in a little while.
The doggy now has a cat.
The grow is growing, And it is so sweet together with a smart. That dog, that little cat, very smart thing.
He's a very smart cat, huh?
Very, very smart.
This is in
And
San
now-
Diego, folks.
Well,
They used to live here in
over-
Hudson.
Over a year, how old is it now? No, he's about not 7 years. Now, see, that's where the numbers do me on.
Oh, yeah, well, it's all right. You're doing fine.
The cat loves my dog, Little Max.
Little Max.
Yeah. And what he does, they roll on the floor to each other. They come in and kissy on their kissies together. And it rolls to it, and it rolls backward, and it pops on its one, and it jumps over and they all lap the other. It is continuous, and it is such a charming thing. The three of them, they roll around. And this can go down for an hour. They'll stop and look at each other, and they kissy on the nosy again. I've never seen anything.
I never heard of that.
It's wonderful. It is so much that you...
I'll say. And the Contis live right up there. And then she's waiting for somebody to come and pick her up and take her across the river to a party. She'll stay over there overnight. And then in the morning they'll bring her back to Contis, and Contis will take her to the railroad station to meet her daughter in New York City. Good morning, folks. My love and best wishes to you all. This is the first Sabbath of the month of December, the last month of the first decade of the third millennium. And we're reading what? Sheldon Cheney has to say about Brother Lawrence on page 289. Brother Lawrence was rather of that gentle, all-loving group of mystics that is most beautifully exemplified in Jesus, in the Buddha Gautama, and in Lhasa. He's akin, by the same token, to Saint Francis and to the gentle Fra Angelico. Now this is the Sabbath. We can't talk to God, second person, and we don't want to talk first person about ourselves. So we're going third person and talking about God. Brother Lawrence, why can't we talk to God? It's the Sabbath. God is resting. God has worked brilliantly for 6 days. And God rests on the seventh day. And amasses energy to do 6 more days of brilliant miracles in creating. He sometimes is not on the sentimental side, for the man had dignity and reserve. He constantly, moreover, translated inspiration and benevolence into deed. Good words, aren't they? Good thoughts. He praises consistently the life of adoration and consecration that holds the soul in communion with God. Boy, that's something.
to aim for. But the greatest space is given to the idea that adoration and consecration can be represented in and implicit in work. Brother Lawrence, you know, is the one who said that he was as close to God during his work as he was during his meditation, during his prayer, during his time in the sanctuary of the church. He speaks often of the, quote, simplicity and purity of the heart, unquote. That's what we're after. How are we coming on that? Are we getting anywhere on that? And he would have devotion come from these rather than from mental decision. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? The, quote, way, unquote, is to be found, quote, by heart and by love, rather than by thought, unquote. Can you give me an example? God flashes the light of faith and the sunshine of life and the sunshine of his presence into the heart of the humble, and, quote, if you would go forward in the spiritual life, you will do better to leave aside the labored conclusions and the subtle reasonings of the unguided intellect. Okay, unquote. Yep. Yeah. He was opposed to speculation and intellect, just the way Buddha was. That's right. He didn't give much thought to what the intellectuals were talking about, reasoning. In this he is, of course, the perfect intuitive. Yeah. Okay, now we get it. Get your heart clean. Go back to a phrase that came from the Buddha section, which was contemplation of happiness for every living being. Yep, that's what will do it. Though unlettered, perhaps educated not at all beyond reading and writing, Brother Lawrence achieved spiritual education. Yeah. You know, as with Jesus, as with Buddha, the greatness all came, folks, from inside them, from being with God, from listening to God. And it was something they did all on their own. They didn't have to have anybody outside of them help them. They did it all on their own. It came from inside of them. That's where it starts. That's pretty simple, isn't it? This goes back to what we've said over and over again. God the first thing in the morning. Alone time with God. And claim the treasure that's been sitting there unclaimed all the years. It's all you. It doesn't take anybody else. It doesn't take any money. It doesn't take anything outside of yourself. It's all right there inside of you. All that richness. All that greatness. All that sublime attainment. It's you. It's inside of you. Alone with God. Brother Lawrence achieved spiritual education. When a Messier Beaufort, a Grand Vicar, had been directed by Cardinal to something, Noailles, Noel, I guess, to put into writing some of the spoken ideas of Brother Lawrence, said Messier betrayed his own surprise that one so lowly, quote, born and fixed in menial work,